Live from the EKN studio in New Orleans, Louisiana, this is the SKUSA WinterNationals on the EKN Radio Network.
The national season, ladies and gentlemen, is underway. We are live here from NOLA Motorsports Park for the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, the second edition of the WinterNationals. Welcome, friends. Rob Howden alongside David Cole, high above the track here in the EKN studio as we get ready to call out happy hour and the final round of practice here on this tremendous racetrack. Gorgeous day in terms of weather. Expecting to have a really nice weekend. Temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s, just 69 degrees right now. A little bit of a breeze. In fact, quite a bit of a breeze earlier today, but blue skies, some nice white clouds, 69 degrees trackside temperature. 71 degrees on Saturday, potential for 75 and sun on Sunday. What a fantastic way to kick off the 2018 Superkarts USA Pro Tour. Drivers on the racetrack now in the Micro Swift category. And big thank you to our broadcast partners here this weekend as well. Always great to have them on board. Kart Sport North America, one of our e-partners this weekend. Rollison Performance Group and Courtney Concepts. Little issue with the transponders here this weekend as I believe the rental transponders needed a little extra charging, so a number of drivers don't have the transponders on. But at this point here, Max Garcia with the quickest lap time. Garcia on top. 109.652, and that simple shout-out of the lap time tells you how long a lap is here at NOLA Motorsports Park. Tremendous racetrack, a lot of turns for these young drivers to negotiate throughout this weekend. And, of course, all these turns with the great track design allows for so many overtaking opportunities. We saw some great racing last year at the inaugural Winter Series. The WinterNationals, rather, the first event for the winter program. Of course, in years past, the first number of years of the Pro Tour, the season got started at the Spring Nationals, moving to the Summer Nationals, and then over the opening years of this Pro Tour program, the Super Nationals were actually the season finale. That changed last year, and I think it was a big and a popular change, allowing drivers to head to the Super Nats in Las Vegas without thinking about a championship, not thinking about having to maybe not make a pass, not go for the race win because you're trying to win that Pro Tour title. Open things back up, made that Super Nats a full-on 100% commitment one-off race weekend. So the addition of the WinterNationals definitely opening things up and actually getting it started earlier here, which I like. First weekend of March, and we are underway here under beautiful skies. Again, David Cole and I ready to bring you live coverage throughout this weekend on the EKN Radio Network. This is the happy hour. We'll have some guests come up and join us here, the EKN studio, chat with a couple of our industry members. A couple of drivers going to come up and join us here as well to talk about the new season. We can talk a little bit about the Superkarts USA Winter Series. First season for the Winter Series, two-event, four-race program run in January and February in the state of Florida, of course, heading down to Homestead for the opening round, Ocala for round number 2. But this is the happy hour as we will call out times throughout this final practice session. It's an extended session here for the Micro Swift drivers. They actually lost a couple of minutes in session number 5. That was checkered early, so they're giving them 3 extra minutes here. It'll be a 15-minute session for drivers in this Micro Swift class. Walter Racing Engines, the sponsor of our Micro Swift category here this weekend. Mateus Orjula now on top in that number 26 machine, a 109.389, so a 69.389 for Orjula. Garcia, 69.410. Caleb Gaffera, 69.454. Ben Mayer, 59.785. Graham Trammell, 59.795. Danny Dzelski now jumping up into the 59s. 6 drivers able to break below that 70 or that 70-second mark. So 6 drivers in the 69. 69.389 now. Arjula still with the quick lap time. Garcia, Gaffera, Dzelski, Mayer, and Trammell. Top 6. Just on the other side, a 70.026 for Cooper Shipman. Cameron Brinkman runs in 8th. Ethan Ayers in 9th. Logan Julian in 10th. And Logan Chambers in the 11th position. Still about 6 minutes remaining in the session here for drivers in Micro Swift. We'll see the X30 Juniors up next, followed by Mini Swift. The combined S1, S2 category going at 4, 415 for S4 and S4 Supermaster, 430 for X30 Master, and 445 for X30 Senior. Tremendous group of young drivers here in the opening platform for young pilots here in the Superkarts USA program, the Micro Swift category. We saw some absolutely fantastic racing at the SKUSA Winter Series this year. 3, 4, 5 driver packs up front, dicing out for the lead. You never know who was going to win it to the very final lap, and I have a feeling we're going to see that again here this weekend as well at NOLA Motorsports Park. Again, a big welcome to each and every one of you who have made the trek down here to Louisiana here in early March to start the new season. Winter Series, essentially the off-season, the spring training program to get dialed in for the full national season. Of course, the WinterNationals here, second running of this race here at NOLA. First weekend of May, the Summer Nationals, rather the Spring Nationals and the Summer Nationals midway through the August month back at Newcastle Motorsports Park. On track, now we're looking at some drivers who have teamed up. Danny Dzelski, Caleb Gaffera, and Ben Mayer all running together in a trio. Matthias Arjula still on top in that number 26 machine. I'll tell you this right now, and I'm going to give them props for this, as I'm standing here up on top of the tower looking down at these carts, and when they come by, I can actually see the numbers. I do appreciate that. Superkarts USA making a change to the standard black on yellow numbers, and I can tell you it is much easier for me to see up here, at least as the announcer, and I guarantee it's going to work the same way for the corner workers who have to try to call out numbers in terms of penalties or whatever issues happened on the racetrack. So number system working a lot better here for me, at least visually. Arjula, Garcia, Gaffera, Dzelski, Trammell, and Ben May are the only drivers below that 70-second mark. We'll send a shout-out to Alan Michelle, who's listening in, former Superkarts USA Pro Tour race winner. Alan, not able to be here this weekend. Keeping on that budget. And as he said in a post here on the EKN Mixler app, he's making money, not spending it here this weekend. Now, we understand that. That's a double whammy. But, Alan, we'd love to have you out here running in that S4 category. Of course, Alan Michelle, a race winner a couple years back. Couple minutes remaining here of the session for drivers in this Micro Swift category, again brought to you by Wolcher Racing Engines. We will say hello to those of you listening live on ekartingnews.com, whether you're on the EKN live page, which is ekartingnews.com/live, or maybe you just linked in on the Mixler app, or you've tuned in elsewhere. Just great to have you guys listening in on the broadcast. As we always do, we'd like you to get on there and share it. Get that link out for everyone, ekartingnews.com/live, so they know how to tune in. Best way to get things rolling on the internet, if you just share what we've got up there. Feel free to post on it as well. We'd love to hear your comments. You want to shout out to a driver in the paddock, we're happy to do it for you. Try to give you some information. If you have anything you'd like to know, David Cole, always working. Get into the paddock and find out exactly what's going on. We'll try to update you with everything we can that's happening on the racetrack. Seventh spot, still Cooper Shipman, lap 3 the best. Most of the drivers quickest in the first handful of laps, lap 3, 4, 5 for Arjula, Garcia, and Gaffera. Lap 6 for Dzelski, lap 8 for Trammell, lap 3 for Mayer, lap 3 for Shipman, lap 4 for Brinkman, lap number 10 for Ethan Ayers. He finds more speed here in the late going. a 70.445 for Ethan Ayers. And Logan Julian rounding out your top 10. Logan Chambers in 11th, Ava Dobson in 12th, and Santiago Duran in the 13th position. As I said before, X30 junior drivers will be up next. We're losing a little bit of time on our schedule simply due to the fact that we added a couple extra minutes for the drivers in this Micro Swift category, having taken a bit of time away from them. Just threw the flag a little early. When we started practice number 5, it was first 4 practice sessions, 7-minute sessions. The first practice after lunch, a 12-minute session, and we just threw a little early there. Instead of going to the 12, we threw at the regular 7, so we gave them a couple extra minutes here at the end to dial things in. I'm getting a little extended session, 12 minutes here in the afternoon. Again, live coverage here on the EKN Radio Network, brought to you by Rawlison Performance Group, Courtney Concepts, and Kart Sport North America. Big thank you to those companies who are working with us here this weekend. Checking down to the start-finish line where Superkarts USA national flagman Aaron Likens on the post once again here this weekend at NOLA Motorsports Park. He's got the checker flag in his hand, so this session is going to come to a close. Ben Mayer on the Nitro Kart number 67 will be the first driver back to the line. There's a checker. That'll end the session. See if we see any motion here in the final couple of laps or last lap. No, Arjulo's still on top. Best time, a 69.389. Garcia, 69.410. Gafera, 69.454, so just 400s back from Garcia. Dzelski at 59.7. Trammell at 59.7. Mayer at 59.7. Or 69.7, rather. 70.0 for Shipman. 70.3 for Brinkman. 70.4 for Ayers. 70.6 for Logan Julian. So that wraps up the session. First category in the final run through the rotation. Micro Swift, of course, leading things off here for the weekend. X30 Juniors are on the grid and getting set to go. This happy hour broadcast now underway, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you're joining us on the EKN Radio Network, or you're joining us here trackside on the PA system. Beautiful weather. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Great way to start off the 2018 Superkarts USA Pro Tour, the second annual WinterNationals.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network. Are you a kart shop owner looking for a new line of products to put on your sales shelf? If so, it's time to make a call to Courtney Concepts. Courtney Concepts is excited to introduce white box brake pads, which are available for Tony Kart and OTK, CRG Ven 05, Burrell Art, and Bennett karts. They are available in medium and hard compounds. Courtney is also a distributor for a number of popular products used every weekend at the kart track, including Motul Oil, RK and Regina Chain, and NKP. Other products that Courtney Concepts is proud to distribute include ICO bearings, coil bearings, ARS oil seals, XAM sprockets, and SKUSA brake rotors and pads. For more information on the products we distribute, head to CourtneyConcepts.com. Praga, Formula K, Aero, and now Kart Republic. You can get them all from Kart Sport North America. Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on site at GoPro Motorplex, Kart Sport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. We offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF Bearings, and Prisma Tire Gauges. We are now an importer and distributor for Dino Chiesa's new Kart Republic chassis, a kart that is taking the world by storm. Lorenzo Travasanuto won the SKUSA Winter Series X30 Senior title on a Kart Republic, and our own Brandon Jarsacrack won in his very first weekend on the chassis. Don't get left behind. If you want to take your racing to the next level, we have driver training and coaching programs available, trackside at GoPro Motorplex. We have a massive inventory, so head to our online store at www.kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components you need. While you're there, check out our used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kart Sport North America, top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development. Give us a call today. In racing, you always want to be focused on improvement. Improving your driving, your braking, your lines, and your understanding of chassis dynamics. At the Rawls Performance Group, we specialize in driver development and providing a platform to maximize every opportunity for success. Our staff is made up of multi-time national champions, SuperNationals winners, and Team USA members. We're dedicated to your development, your constant improvement, and your success. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. It's what we do. We win. RPG can provide training and trackside support for many of the sport's biggest programs. In 2018, we will be running the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, Winter Series, the SuperNationals, and both the California Pro Kart Challenge and the Can-Am Karting Challenge. If you're looking forward to 2018 and you want to explode out of the gate to put in the best season of your life, call us to reserve a space under our tent for the inaugural SKUSA Winter Series. We'll be in Florida to win championships, and we'd love to have you with us. Now back to play-by-play coverage of the second annual Superkarts USA WinterNationals, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans. Brought to you by Kart Sport North America, Rawls Performance Group, and Courtney Concepts.
Engines once again fired up. X30 junior drivers on the racetrack for their final practice session of the day, the extended 12-minute run. Again, Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Live coverage from the second running of the Superkarts USA WinterNationals, the opening round of the 2018 SKUSA Pro Tour. Great field of drivers here, well over 200 in the paddock, ready to take on the new season and essentially begin what could be a charge for the national championship of the number one plate. X30 Junior absolutely stacked this weekend. .44 plus, ready to battle it out. Quickest outlap, the Canadian Justin Arsenault on the Tony Kart for Speed Concepts Racing. He goes P1 to get things underway. I'll tell you, when you've got 44 plus, I think we might even be up to around 48 or 49 karts here this weekend in this category. This racetrack, although long, is absolutely jam-packed with karts. Everywhere I look, every corner, karts trying to battle their way through here. Arsenault with the quickest lap. Tyler Gonzalez, P2. Jeremy Fairburn in third. Arias Dukmedjian in the fourth position. Connor Zilich in fifth. Mackenzie Clark, sixth, the Canadian. John Burke out of Texas in seventh. For the Canadian, Thomas Naveau in eighth. Adrian Cruz, ninth. Nicholas Terlecki rounding out your early top 10. Two full days of racing, part of the action here on the Superkarts USA Pro Tour. Qualifying, pre-final, and final each day. So if you have a rough one on Saturday, you can always come back and battle it once again on the Sunday. 6 rounds of racing throughout the 2018 season. Of course, Winter Nationals, Spring Nationals, Summer Nationals. Drivers get a chance to drop just one race. You have one rough one, put it behind you and keep going. I think on the concept focusing on trying to win that number one plate. Plates actually for first, second, and third, the national number plates. Champion winning the scholarship to run the next year. Entries, tires, fuel, all covered as part of the Superkarts USA Circle of Champions. Arsenault still on top, a couple laps into the books. Arsenault in the 773. junior category was very impressive on the Superkarts USA Winter Series, the off-season spring training program for the Pro Tour. So many great young drivers in this category. Man, looking at lap times here, a couple drivers finally turning things up, but again, most drivers going quickest in the first handful of laps. Lap 2 is the best for Justin Arsenault. 62.926, not able to go any quicker in the 3 subsequent laps. Tyler Gonzalez, P2 now, lap 3 the best for him. 63.109, back by almost 0.2 of a second. Jeremy Fairburn, he and Brandon Tyner go quicker on lap number 5 to put themselves into 3rd and 4th. Tyner now up to P4. Mateus Morgado, 5th, but not for long. Here comes John Burke, Thomas Naveau, and Alexander Jankowski now as well into the top 10. Morgado, Zilich, and Duke Medjian just outside the top 10. Luke Lang running 11th. Mackenzie Clark in 12th. Nicholas Terlecki in 13th. Emiliano Richards 14th. Here comes Paulie Massimino up in the top 15 as well, as does Josh Pearson. Scroll. Top 23. No, keep going. Top 26 drivers within a second. Top 26 within 1 second. 12-minute session, about 17 down. So less than 5 minutes to go here for drivers in this X30 Junior category, brought to you by Rawlson Performance Group. Arsenault still up top in the 773. Okay, we welcome everyone to the Happy Hour broadcast here in the EKN Radio Network. We'll have a couple of guests join us here up in the EKN studio. Open air tower overlooking the final corner on the racetrack and the run to the checkered flag. Drivers getting an opportunity to get a feel for this racetrack. Of course, track was open yesterday as well. Number of drivers getting practice sessions in. Get a feel for the track itself. Get a feel for the overtake opportunities. How do you set up to make that move in whatever corner it may be? You have to give up a little bit somewhere to make a pass somewhere else. We saw some absolutely thrilling passes last year. The S1 category was just amazing with some of the young drivers we had coming in. Remember, Hunter Pickett last year scoring his debut S1 victory here at NOLA Motorsports Park. Very popular win. One of the drivers we saw do so well as well, Dylan Tavella, moving on to the F4 U.S. Championship this year. With Tavella moving into his car career. One of the exciting things about Superkarts USA as well is obviously a number of these young drivers use the training to potentially try to advance their career. Maybe want to become professional race car drivers, but again, SKUSA is such a big supporter of the Masters category as well. A lot of drivers in the S4 Master and Super Masters class. We had a great field in the X30 Masters category as well. Drivers 30 and 45 years of age and older. Time winding down. Couple minutes remaining, 2.5 remaining in this session. Arsenault still on top. Gonzalez second. Thomas Naveau on lap number 7 finds more speed. He goes to P3. The Texan John Burke now up into 4th. That was lap 7 for Burke. Connor Zilich in 5th. Arias Dukmedji in 6th. 7th is Fairburn. 8th is Jankowski. 9th is Brandon Tyner. 10th is Mateus Morgado. Checker flag being thrown here to cap the session. This will be it for drivers in X30 Junior. Checker flag displayed at start-finish. Justin Arsenault from lap number 2, best lap. 62.926. 62.926 fast lap for X30 Junior. We look forward to get things underway in Anger tomorrow as the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour will take to the track So here it is. Checker flag has flown. Final drivers have come across the line. Justin Arsenault with the quick lap. Tyler Gonzalez, P2, back by just 1/100th of a second. Thomas Naveau within a tenth as well in third. John Burke fourth. Connor Zilic fifth. That's your fast five. Arias Dukmedjian in the sixth spot. Jeremy Fairburn in seventh. Alexander Yankowski eighth. Mateus Morgado ninth. And Brandon Tyner wraps up the final practice session of the day for X30 Junior in the 10th position. Again, the day is underway in terms of final practice. Drivers did a great job throughout the morning sessions, getting things locked and loaded. Official practice day getting ready to come to a close. We have 2 down, 5 more race groups still to come. And we'll be back here on the EKN Radio Net with more happy hour here from NOLA Motorsports Park.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network. From coast to coast, IAME has become the two-cycle engine of choice for American karting. Starting with the air-cooled 60cc Swift engine and moving through to the incredible X30 power plant, IAME is providing much-needed stability for the sport. The Swift and X30 engines are the backbone of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and Pro Kart Challenge Series, as well as the USPKS, the Route 66 Sprint Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. We're thrilled to introduce the new IAME KA100 Rejet engine with a special introductory price of just $16.95 until the end of February. The new engine is getting rave reviews and will be part of the USPKS, Route 66, and WKA Man Cup programs in 2018. Watch for more regions of the country to get on board with this new formula. We have 2 distribution centers in the U.S. to serve you well. IAME East in Mooresville, North Carolina, and IAME West in Temecula, California. The momentum is continuing to build, so it's time to make an investment in stabilizing your engine program. For more information on IAME, head to the website for your region, IAMEUSAEast.com or IAMEUSAWest.com. Are you a kart shop owner looking for a new line of products to put on your sales shelf? If so, it's time to make a call to Courtney Concepts. Courtney Concepts is excited to introduce white box brake pads, which are available for Tony Kart and OTK, CRG Ven 05, Burrell Art, and Bennett karts. They are available in medium and hard compounds. Courtney is also a distributor for a number of popular products used every weekend at the kart track, including Motul Oil, RK and Regina Chain, and NKP. Other products that Courtney Concepts is proud to distribute include ICO bearings, coil bearings, ARS oil seals, XAM sprockets, and Frixa brake rotors and pads. For more information on the products we distribute, head to CourtneyConcepts.com. Praga, Formula K, Aero, and now Kart Republic. You can get them all from Kartsport North America. Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on-site at GoPro Motorplex, Kartsport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. We offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF Bearings, and Prisma Tire Gauges. We are now an importer and distributor for Dino Chiesa's new Kart Republic chassis, a kart that is taking the world by storm. Lorenzo Travis Irving won the SKUSA Winter Series X30 Senior title on a Kart Republic, and our own Brandon Jarsakrak won in his very first weekend on the chassis. Don't get left behind. If you want to take your racing to the next level, we have driver training and coaching programs available, trackside at GoPro Motorplex. We have a massive inventory, so head to our online store at www.kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components you need. While you're there, check out our used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kartsport North America, top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development. Give us a call today. Now back to play-by-play coverage of the second annual Superkarts USA WinterNationals live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans. Brought to you by Kart Sport North America, Rawlson Performance Group, and Courtney Concepts.
Drivers back on track as we move into the Mini Swift category, brought to you by Nash Motorsports. Great field in the Mini Swift category, 33 strong. If you're looking at the results of the X30 Junior from home, you'll see that a number of the drivers did not have the transponders on. Normally we require transponders to be mandatory in these categories, but there was a minor issue with the transponders. They needed to get the charged up. Some of the rental transponders didn't get the charge they needed, so they are on the charge now. They'll be fine for tomorrow, so those drivers who do need those rental transponders can pick them up tomorrow morning. Our Mini Swift drivers, I believe, not the last session, but the session before lunch, a little talking to from our director of competition. We had a full course yellow around the racetrack, and the drivers, majority of them, stayed on the throttle, did not let up at all. Obviously not what the full course yellow is meant to do. And we've talked about it many times throughout the last couple of years that we're finding drivers not heeding the yellow flag, not slowing up. And in fact, on occasion, as a result, driving straight into wrecks that are happening in front of them, the wrecks that they're trying to be warned about with that yellow flag. I know, talking to Joe Janowski, he wants to make sure that gets fixed up quite quickly. So drivers on the racetrack now for Mini Swift, brought to you by Nash Motorsports. Happy hour here from NOLA Motorsports Park on the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. That little breeze continuing trackside here at NOLA. Superkarts USA Pro Tour WinterNationals on the racetrack, on the kart track. SCCA having one of their major events over on the big track here at NOLA Motorsports Park. So packed paddock both here in the kart track and over on the big track as well. Alex Powell out of the box with the fast lap thus far. Kai Sorensen runs in second. Elliot Cox in third. Jack Jefferson fourth. Anderson Leonard, your early fast five. Mateo Rubio Luengo in the sixth position. Jeremy Fletcher in seventh. Alex Stanfield eighth. Logan Adams ninth. Carson Morgan 10th. Just outside the top 10, Brent Cruz 11th. Chase Park 12th. Noah Baker, Chase Gardner, and Christian Miles. The IAME Mini Swift engine, the platform for drivers here in the micro and mini category. Of course, once these drivers transition here, they'll jump into the X30 Junior category, but it's the IAME X30 that they'll be able to run for the next handful of years through X30 Junior, X30 Senior. They can keep running if they want to become a Masters driver as well. This track has so many opportunities to overtake that drivers can be patient. They can time their moves. They can really study the driver in front of them to find out where they're quicker, where would be the best opportunity to pass, because with so many overtaking opportunities around this racetrack, you just have to set yourself up. There's a lot of passes that you don't have to really pressure either. You come out of the final couple of corners into the final left-hander here right at the start-finish, and to really get a good lap time, you're going to want a wider entry into that corner. That opens the door on the inside. So if you are racing, there's going to be an opportunity to dive to the inside there. We've seen that happen quite a bit. Powell still on top. Kai Sorensen second. Elliot Cox third. Noah Baker fourth. And Jack Jeffers still rounding out your top five. 68 flat for Powell. 68-1 for Kai Sorensen. 68-2 for Brent Cruz as he jumps to P3. Cruz to the third spot, 68.2. Elliot Cox in the number 151, 68.3. Noah Baker, 68.4, as is James Agozi. Jack Jeffers, Alex Stanfield, Anderson Leonard, and Jeremy Fletcher, and Mateo Rubio Luengo. So it's a 4 from 5th back to 11th. Wow. $68,422 for Noah Baker, $68,494 for Mateo Rubio Luengo, 7 hundredths of a second from 5th back to 11th. Full second separating your top 21 out of the 33. Drivers working lap number 5 now. Alex Stanfield jumps into the top 5. 68.421, lap 5, the best for Stanfield. Lap 5 quickest for Jeremy Fletcher as well. Fletcher put on a show at Ocala for the final 2 rounds of the Superkarts USA Winter Series. Came from the very tail of the field and almost won on Sunday, round number 4. Ended up finishing second. Definitely made his mark on the track he knows so well. Enzo Deligny up into the 14th position on lap number 5, 68.723. 0.6 of a second back in total, but only 700th behind Carson Morgan in the national number 1. Outside the top 15, Aiden Rudolph, Jace Park, Christian Miles, Enzo Swan, and Logan Toke, your top 20. Alex Powell still on top. A couple minutes still to go in the session here. Alex Powell on top. Kai Sorensen in second. Brent Cruz in third. Elliot Cox fourth. Alex Stanfield fifth. Still has a couple minutes still remaining. Starting off a brand new season of Superkarts USA Pro Tour racing. And last year we saw some absolutely fantastic racing and some great competition to battle all the way down, of course, to the Summer Nationals to see who's going to win this number 1 plate in the championships. I got alongside me here right now Travis Hot Rocks Irving. I've called you that for a long time. I didn't even give you that nickname. I just used it back when you were still a junior driver. But, Travis, you had a great run last year coming back into this X30 Masters category, running the comp cart, and, man, good season. National number 2. I know you came up just a little bit short. National 3, pardon me. You came up a little short. Yeah, Mardan was able to sweep you at the Summer Nats to get that job done. National 3 last year. You obviously wanted to go for national number 1. What's the motivation coming into the new season?
When it all comes down to it, it's the support that's behind me. I don't want to let them down. I give more to this sport than I think anybody else could ever dream of. I don't think there's a guy here that could ever said that they lost 80 pounds in a year and a half to be able to go go-kart racing. You know, you come out here, you spend a lot of money to win a trophy and a high five, and I want to do it for the guys that have gotten me here. You know, it's the guys like Tony Siragusa and Nick from Formula Works that have been behind me, and then it's, you know, my best friend John Crow and Billy Musgrave that constantly push me, and then you got guys like John Silva that you're just happy to be at the track with. So when you have those guys around you, you want to make them proud, and you just like being a part of it. So that's going out there and doing your job.
How was the season last year? You got up on the wheel, you were hustling the car around. You said you lost a bunch of weight to come racing. You're still a big dude. You're not like Silva, who sits down in the seat. He can hardly look over the steering wheel. You know what I mean? You're up. You got a lot of upper body weight. The cart's moving around. It's going to be a different chassis setup for you for sure, and you're just going to have to drive a little different. How was it last year muscling that thing around?
You know what? It was great. Ever since I got on the comp cart, life's been easy. I do less work on the chassis than I've ever done in my life. And believe it or not, usually John and I are almost identical setups. That's just the way the comp carts are. You pull it out of a box, you put tires and engine on it, you go out there and you race top 3, as you can see by almost every person that's ever gotten in one. So, it comes down to it. It's just hustle and it's drive, especially when you're in the X30 Masters deal, because you got some of the best drivers in the world here. There's only 2 guys missing from this field that would be top 5, and that's Crow and Rollison. I'm really happy they're not here because then I have more people to deal with. But I wish they were, because then you could say that there's not a single person that's not here that is potentially one of the best drivers in the world as far as I'm concerned.
Big year for you last year, of course, going some racing as well, but you welcome a new addition to your family. How does that change things with your daughter?
I love being here, but I really wish I was at home. I absolutely love her to death, and it really changes the perspective of things, because now that she's here, she'll be able to look back on things and say, that was my dad, that's what he did. So you kind of have to be a little bit smarter and say, yeah, I did those things, but don't do those. So,
Checker flag getting ready to fly. We'll wrap things up in a couple seconds. Stick with me here, though. Travis Irving, driver in our X30 Masters category, running the comp cart for Formula Works. One last question before we wrap things up. Travis, I know you're going to be back on the racetrack here for your final practice session. How's your day going so far?
You know what? It started beautifully yesterday, being top 2, me and Wang, and Neen Cotter doing really well. Struggled a little bit today, but I think I got it figured out. Had a little bit of a carburetor issue that we just solved. So I expect right now, practice, top 5, because racing's a whole different deal. And me being 6'4", all I got to do is get next to him, and I know it's going to scare him a little bit because I know I really don't care.
How about the track itself? Is it starting to come around? Are we getting some Avinco rubber down?
Oh, no, the track's really starting to come around. It's starting to get a little bit greasy today now that we're getting some good rubber and that we have nice cool air. A lot of rubber's going down. So times I think are going to maybe level off, and then tomorrow morning in qualifying, it might be lightning fast because I'm already doing qualifying times from last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're about half a second to 0.6 quicker than last year.
Have fun this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Travis Irving, folks, joining us up here again. National number 3 in the X30 Masters category, running for Formula Works and Comp Kart. Definitely knows how to get the job done. I haven't had a chance to call his races since, the first years of Superkarts USA and the Pro Moto Tour when he was running in that S2 semi-pro category in a top kart. Those have been around the sport a long time. Have been able to follow Travis work his way through. 18 years, Travis is telling me he's been racing. I'll tell you, here's a guy that can get the job done, and it was great to see him come back last year. But as we said, you talk about some guys. A lot of these Italian go-karts designed, to be good for an Italian 5'5", 5'6", 5'7". As Travis had said, he's 6'4", lost 80 pounds to get himself back into race shape, and just a fantastic story to have Travis here with us this weekend. S1 and S2 drivers getting ready to go. Let's have a look at the top 10 of Mini Swift. It got capped up. Kai Sorensen on lap number 9 goes P1, 68.413 late in the session for Kai Sorensen. He goes to the top of the charts. Alex Powell ends up in the second position. His opening lap was his best. James Agozi slotted into third, lap number 8, the best for James. Brent Cruz in the fourth position. Jeremy Fletcher ends up in fifth. Elliot Cox in sixth. Alex Stanfield in seventh position. Noah Baker, Jack Jeffers, and Anderson Leonard rounding out your top 10. So, drivers in the S1, S2 category getting ready to go. Folks, we'll have those calls and those times after this break.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network. In racing, you always want to be focused on improvement. Improving your driving, your braking, your lines, and your understanding of chassis dynamics. At the Rollison Performance Group, we specialize in driver development and providing a platform to maximize every opportunity for success. Our staff is made up of multi-time national champions, SuperNationals winners, and Team USA members. We're dedicated to your development, your constant improvement, and your success. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. It's what we do. We win. RPG can provide training and trackside support for many of the sport's biggest programs. In 2018, we will be running the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, Winter Series, the SuperNationals, and both the California Pro Kart Challenge and the Can-Am Karting Challenge. If you're looking forward to 2018 and you want to explode out of the gate to put in the best season of your life, call us to reserve a space under our tent for the inaugural SKUSA Winter Series. We'll be in Florida to win championships, and we'd love to have you with us. Now back to play-by-play coverage of the second annual Superkarts USA Winter Nationals, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans. Brought to you by Kart Sport North America, Rawlson Performance Group, and Courtney Concepts.
3 race groups already done it in the books here. The happy hour practice session, the happy hour broadcast here on the EKN Radio Network. And a shout out to all those of you listening in. Great interview with veteran driver Travis Irving. A new father, as we said, happened last season. He and his wife welcoming a young daughter into the world. And, of course, as you can say, changed the priority a little bit. Always great to see Travis on the racetrack, though. He is a wheelman. There's no doubt about it. Travis made the move from, it's actually a great story. Travis made the move from being a top young driver, of course, in karting. Wanted to become that race car driver. Transitioned into the USF 2000 series where he ran and did extremely well. But again, you like so many young drivers, you have that trouble finding the cash. End up going back to California, went to work. Found himself at a stock car. Started running super late models at Irwindale Speedway in Southern California. Did that for a number of years. Shut that down, and guess what? Like so many, coming back to the roots of his racing career, and that's in karting. And that's the great thing about Superkarts USA with this Masters category is the fact that the high level of competition that is provided here on the Pro Tour for drivers 30 years of age and older, 45 years of age and older for the Super Masters category, it's really needed in the sport because there are guys that want that level, the guys that used to run top-level national karting, that when they come back, they want to have that ultra-high level of racing again. That's why we see so many tremendous drivers in this Masters category. They've been racing all their lives. And again, super excited to have Travis back with us. And again, he'll have the national number 3 plate here throughout the weekend. S1, S2, brought to you by Musgrave Racing Company. S1 presented by Musgrave. S2 presented by 3G Kart Racing. Split category here. This weekend as we've got S1 and S2 running together. Some tremendous drivers. And we got some rookies coming up into the S1 class that I'm particularly excited about. Of course, we're looking, of course, at national number 1, Jake French. No doubt about it. French is a badass. He is going to be fantastic here this weekend. National number 2, Billy Musgrave as well. You know, these are the guys that, obviously, French wins the championship. Musgrave wins the Super Nats. We've got some young drivers making the jump to S1. Last year's S2 national champion, Riley Dickinson, jumping up. Colin Daly, a winner here last year at the WinterNationals in S2. He's moved to the S1 category. Rory Vanderstuur, who's so quick at the SKUSA Winter Series as well. Vanderstuur in the 129, a rookie as well. It's going to open the door for some new drivers to step things up in the S2 class. We'll see who has the speed to get the job done. Cole Bailey as well, another driver jumping into the S1 class. Cole Bailey with Leading Edge Motorsports on a Praga. Dickinson with the fastest lap here early. We're just a couple laps in. 3 more categories left to go here in the happy hour. Happy hour broadcast ends up being around an hour and 45 minutes in total. Dickinson on top. Jake French in second. A.J. Myers in the TB kart now runs up into the 3rd position. Dickinson and French underneath the DKC Dallas Karting Complex banner on the Sodi karts. 60.715 for Dickinson, 60.805 for French. A.J. Myers in 3rd. Colin Daly 4th on the DR kart for DRT Racing. Vanderstuur on the FA kart. P5, Matthias Podbo in the number 188. Now in 7th, Blair Hosey. Hosey on the Alpha kart, running P2 in the S2 category. Devin Smith-Harden on the TB kart for TB Kart Indy in 10th overall. Garrett McKelvey 11th. Kawan Tandon in 12th. Kyle Kennedy in 13th, Riley Can 14th, and Tyler Gilbo in the 15th position. Again, Riley Dickinson leading the way. French, Myers, Daly, Vanderstuur. That's your top 5. Hitting the 7 mark here of this session. Again, Riley Dickinson in the 153, winning one of the races here last year in the S2 category. Went on to win that national championship, and he, of course, has to go head-to-head in training with national number 1 Jake French, and that's definitely going to raise your game. When you run against the best, just going to raise your game, and that's, one of the, I think, the attractions, one of the draws in being part of this program and coming to run an event like the Pro Tour, whether you're a local driver and the Pro Tour comes to your town, make sure you get in that event. It'll raise your game to run to that next level. More shout-outs to give out. Ian Francis giving a shout-out to all the drivers out of Colorado. Ian, thank you so much for listening into the broadcast. All you got to do is jump on ekartingnews.com and our Facebook page. Send us a message. Tag us in a message if you want. We'll see it. Let us know where you're listening from. We love to hear that people are working on their karts in the garage. Maybe they've got a laptop open and they're listening live. Working on the karts. Could be rolling home. I think last weekend we had someone actually listening in from the plane. They were actually on the plane listening to the broadcast. Took the opportunity to send us a message. We absolutely love that. Of course, with the new EKN radio network, 24/7 karting content on the website and through the mobile device as well. You can listen to all the stuff we do, all our podcasts, all our play-by-play. The idea is to give you guys the opportunity to listen into some karting content, maybe while you're on the drive to or from work, whatever it may be. Time winding down. Dickinson still on top here in the S1, S2 category. Dickinson, A.J. Myers goes to second. So Dickinson and Myers 1-2. French in third. Colin Daly fourth. Rory Vanderstuur in the fifth spot. Leading the way in the S2 category, Pedro Lopez over Blair Hosey and Devin Smith-Harden. Garrett McKelvey and Kawan Tandon rounding out your top 5 in the S2 class. Good field of drivers here this weekend. Billy Musgrave not on the throttle here, quite a ways off. I wonder whether or not he may be breaking a motor in. Maybe made an adjustment. Dickinson, Myers, French, Daly, and Vanderstuur. Top 3 drivers separated by just 0.3 of a second. 60.715 for Riley Dickinson leading the way here. This is the way to dial things up in the DKC tent. The rookie coming in to set the mark here in the final session of the day. Again, Dickinson very impressive last year en route to the S2 Semi-Pro Stock Honda Championship. Dickinson, Myers, French, Daly, and Vanderstuur. Pedro Lopez, I'll say just about 8 or 9 hundredths of a second quicker than Blair Hosey. That's the S2 class. Devin Smith-Harden in third. Garrett McKelvey fourth. Kawan Tandon fifth. Sixth is Kyle Kennedy. Seventh is Riley Can. Eighth is Tyler Gilbo. Ninth, Cody Elliott. 10th, Michael Alavia. We'll be seeing the checker flag here pretty soon in this category. Sun hiding behind a couple of clouds, starting to get a little cooler here trackside. Sunset right around the 6 o'clock hour. Still 69 degrees here trackside. We are in the shade up here in the EKN Outdoor Studio. Fast laps coming in. Lap 2 for Dickinson. Lap 6. Actually, Myers resets his fast lap on lap number 6 and I believe heads to pit lane. Not sure if Myers still on the racetrack here. As I said, this track's so long. Man, it takes you a while to scope out the entire track. Aaron Lyke is dropping the black and white here at start-finish. That'll be it. Final drivers coming around to get their last laps in. Get a couple of rental transponders I think we haven't seen yet. There are some drivers out there who are not posting times. As we had said before, the rental transponders needed some extra power, so they're getting charged up overnight. Austin Garrison on the comp car, one of the drivers we haven't seen yet. Cameron Egger on a rental transponder as well. He didn't put a time down. So the times we're giving you here in our rundown here on the happy hour, remember, there are a number of drivers that could slot in there still, just don't have the transponder on quite yet. You'll see that tomorrow morning when we kickstart things for qualifying. Final drivers coming across the line once again. Dickinson quickest in the S1 category. A.J. Myers second. Jake French in third. Colin Daly fourth. And Rory Vanderster rounding out your Fast Five. Pedro Lopez, quickest driver in the S2 class, ahead of Blair Hosey, Devin Smith-Harden, Garrett McKelvey, and Kawan Tandon. That's going to wrap up S1, S2. 3 more categories still to come here in the EKN Happy Hour. S4 and S4 Supermaster. Next up.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network. From coast to coast, IAME has become the two-cycle engine of choice for American karting. Starting with the air-cooled 60cc Swift engine and moving through to the incredible X30 power plant, IAME is providing much-needed stability for the sport. The Swift and X30 engines are the backbone of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and Pro Kart Challenge Series, as well as the USPKS, the Route 66 Sprint Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. We're thrilled to introduce the new IAME KA100 Rejet engine with a special introductory price of just $16.95 until the end of February. The new engine is getting rave reviews and will be part of the USPKS, Route 66, and WKA Man Cup programs in 2018. Watch for more regions of the country to get on board with this new formula. We have 2 distribution centers in the U.S. to serve you well. IAME East in Mooresville, North Carolina, and IAME West in Temecula, California. The momentum is continuing to build, so it's time to make an investment in stabilizing your engine program. For more information on IAME, head to the website for your region, IAMEUSAEast.com or IAMEUSAWest.com. Are you a kart shop owner looking for a new line of products to put on your sales shelf? If so, it's time to make a call to Courtney Concepts. Courtney Concepts is excited to introduce white box brake pads, which are available for Tony Kart and OTK, CRG Ven 05, Burrell Art, and Bennett karts. They are available in medium and hard compounds. Courtney is also a distributor for a number of popular products used every weekend at the kart track, including Motul Oil, RK and Regina Chain, and NKP. Other products that Courtney Concepts is proud to distribute include ICO bearings, coil bearings, ARS oil seals, XAM sprockets, and Frixa brake rotors and pads. For more information on the products we distribute, head to CourtneyConcepts.com. Now back to play-by-play coverage of the second annual Superkarts USA WinterNationals, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans. Brought to you by Kart Sport North America, Rawlson Performance Group, and Courtney Concepts.
Back on track now with the drivers in our S4 Master and Supermasters category. We're expecting some great racing here in this category as well. Drivers just starting to get some heat built into the Avinco tires. Avinco tires, a sponsor of our S4 class. Late Apex Kartworks sponsoring S4 Supermaster. Again, we'll get these things rolling up or get these drivers going. Before we do that, you know what? I think it's time to have a quick chat. I have another guest up here for the happy hour. Get a chance to talk to one of my good buddies who always tries to outdress me at the banquet every year, Elliot Cox. Elliot, a lot of great things happening with you right now because I want to talk about everything you're doing for dyslexia. And I know that as a writer, I battled it a little bit when I was in school as well. Talk to me first about your time with dyslexia and what you did at the State House as well. You had a chance to talk to your people in your state legislature as well.
What I did, I went to, first of all, with dyslexia, it made it hard for me to read and spell, and I spelled my B's, D's, P's, and Q's backwards, and it made me feel really stupid. People called me stupid. And then my dad noticed that I was having some of the problems that he did. So he took me to get tested, and he went and got tested too. We both found out we were dyslexic, and since then I've been trying to make an impact on kids with dyslexia and try to tell them that dyslexia doesn't stop me, and it shouldn't stop them either.
I think that's an awesome thing that you're doing. Now, tell me about you talking and going to the state legislature as well. What did you do when you did that? Because you're not just talking about it, but you're trying to get some things happening in your state, are you not?
The bill just passed actually for dyslexia. Every school has to get kids tested for dyslexia. Well, not tested, but like screened for dyslexia. And I think it's a really good idea. I went in and actually talked to the House of Representatives about it, and they actually all voted after I went. So that was really exciting for me.
That's actually unbelievable. I saw it on Facebook, and I thought it was fantastic. You did a great job. Now, you're not done yet either, are you? Because you have something going on during the month of May in Indianapolis. You're actually putting on a fundraiser to try to raise some money as well. I know it's going to happen at Sarah Fisher's place in Speedway, Indiana. Tell me a little bit about the fundraiser that you're having in Indianapolis in May.
It's going to be at Speedway Indoor Karting May 18th after Fast Friday. It's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. Some sponsors of it are Bell Helmets, Indy Lights, Catherine Legg, Charlie Kimball, and Stephen Wilson.
Are those drivers going to come out to do some racing as well? Stephen and Charlie and Kath are going to come out to drive as well?
I'm not sure, yeah.
Now, are they going to have to go head-to-head against you? Because I don't know if that'd be fair. You're pretty fast.
I kind of hope so.
Let's talk about this weekend as well. First off, congratulations on that. The fact that you're able to step up and do something, I'm very impressed. And I know that you're going to help a lot of kids who are having trouble in school. I love what you've done. How about racing so far? How are things going with you? I was talking about you in practice, so it must have been pretty good.
It was pretty good. I started out the season. It wasn't very good. This is the first race that I've actually been kind of good at so far. I'm happy that I got like a top 10 for qualifying, and I hope I can get up to the front in the races.
Well, listen, good luck this weekend, and congratulations on everything you're doing for dyslexia. I love seeing you do that, and we're going to make sure we get some more exposure for you for the race you're putting on, the fundraiser you're putting on in Indianapolis.
Thank you.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Elliot Cox. Fantastic job. Great young driver, and again, a young man who's doing some great things for dyslexia as well. We got more racing on track here. Stick with us, and we'll bring you some lap times. So again, back at it. Let's have a look here at some of the lap times we're seeing right now. John Crow on top in the Supermaster category. He's actually the fastest driver on the racetrack, but he's in the Supermasters class. John Crow has really been focusing on this program, running that shifter. And that number 631, he is quickest. 61.891 for John Crow. 62.076, fastest driver in S4. Ben Schermerhorn, national number 3. Robert Marks, national number 1 in the Supermasters category. Winner, of course, here last year at the WinterNationals. Is now third overall, second in Supermaster. Mike Rivera in the number 622 CKR chassis, P3. 4th overall, P3 in S4 Supermaster. Nick Firestone right there as well. Second quickest driver in S4, Evan Batt in the TB kart number 403. Farshad Bagheri and Brett Harrelson up there in, I believe, 5th and 6th in the Supermasters category. In S4, Ben Schermerhorn leading the way. Evan Batt in 2nd. Matthew O'Donnell in 3rd, and Derek Crockett now rounding up the top 5. And again, as I said, we have a number of drivers who don't have their transponders yet. Chance to chat with another one of our guests here as we still have a number of minutes remaining here in the happy hour session for S4 and S4 Supermaster. Let's talk to one of our national number 1 plate holders. Jake French, big year for you last year. It was awesome. Obviously with DKC on the Sodi kart, you guys put 100% effort in, and I think it really paid off. You came out of the box, and it wasn't just the fact you were able to win races. I think it was your consistency throughout the year. You didn't go anywhere, and you weren't good. You know, you were right there in the hunt the whole time, and I know you worked on that as well. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it definitely took a lot of work and a lot of years to get to that point. But, you know, it's all going from mechanicals. You know, my dad keeping everything together on the kart, nothing failing that. You know, whole team effort, all working together, making sure that we're all up front. And, yeah, you're right. It is consistency, you know, trying to stay out of trouble on track. And, you know, sometimes taking a second is better than, you know, taking a DNF and, you know, having to lose a whole entire race. But, yeah, it definitely did. It did pay off.
You're definitely the poster boy of the stock Honda category. I remember watching you S5 first with Supernats, and then S2, of course, and then S1. You've worked your way all the way up the ranks with your dad as well. How special it is that for you to be able to have a chance to work with your dad. We'll talk about how many spats you guys, if you guys throw wrenches or anything like that at each other, but you get a chance to work very closely with your dad on a regular basis, which is, I think, pretty special.
Yeah, it is definitely special, and, you know, you're right, throwing wrenches at each other. We definitely do argue every now and then, you know, with the kart setup or whatnot, but you know, it does make teams goals. You know, we've been doing it for 14 years now, and it's only been him and I really, you know, together. You know, I've never really had another mechanic or anybody, but, you know, it's hard work, and it pays off.
What about the pressure this year? You know, last year you roll in, I'm going to go for the national number 1 plate. It's on the car. You're the man right now. What are your thoughts going into 2018? Are you feeling the pressure, or is it just, I'm going to go out and do what I did last year again?
Oh, for sure, always. You know, this S1 field, all these guys, you know, Musgrave, Danny, and, you know, even some of the S2 guys that have moved up, you know, like Dickinson being fastest in the last practice. There's always tough competition. You know, it's never going to be easy. You know, you're always going to have a guy that's sometimes faster than you or, you know, pushing yourself, and, you know, it's always tough.
One of the things you won last year after winning the championship was the package from F4 with entry fees. Well, I know you got an F4 car now in the shop. Are we going to see you out for a couple of races this year? Is it going to be the full season?
For sure. We haven't had actually a press release quite yet. I do have one day testing in the car. It went great, but we are hoping to maybe do half a season. You know, funding's a little low, and right now it's just honestly me and my dad, so we're kind of learning about it, and you know, hopefully it leads to bigger things. You know, it's awesome what Honda does, you know, coming from the shifted categories, and even the youngsters, you know, Dylan Tavella out of junior, you know, moving up into cars. It's a great starting point.
Good luck this weekend, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Jake French, you're going to hear a lot about him on the PA, a lot of about him here, of course, on the EKN Radio Network and EKN Live. This guy's the national number 1 plate holder, top driver in the country, part of our EKN Driver rankings presented by Bell Helmets as well. Brand new Bell helmet for him this year, coming from the good folks at Bell. Really pleased to have a guy like Jake representing us. So I will have a look here at the S4 and S4 Supermaster times. Checker flag, I believe, getting ready. Yeah, just looking down. Aaron Likens grabbing that flag now with her right at the 11.5-minute mark. A lot of the guys in this category don't have the transponders on. We talked about the fact that the transponders, most of the rental transponders getting charged up right now for tomorrow. So we do have 11 drivers with transponders on. John Crow with the quickest lap thus far overall, and quickest, of course, then in Supermaster, 61.731. Ben Schermerhorn, fastest of the drivers with transponders in S4. S4 has Ben Schermerhorn, Evan Batt, Matthew O'Donnell, and Derek Crockett. In the S4 Supermasters category, John Crow leading Brett Harrelson, Robert Marks, Mike Rivera, and Farshad Bagheri. So those are the drivers who we're seeing shows pace here in S4 and S4 Supermaster. 2 more categories still to go. Looking down on the Avondale grid, X30 Masters drivers starting to slide down into the seats, getting ready to go. A fantastic field in this category. Of course, National 1, National 2, National 3, all here. But we have a surprise guy coming in as well. Leonardo Nienkotter, 3-time winner of the Super Nationals. The Brazilian here on the comp cart. Should be a great weekend in X30 Masters racing. Stick with us. 2 more categories still to come on the EKN Happy Hour.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network. Praga, Formula K, Aero, and now Kart Republic. You can get them all from Kartsport North America. Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on-site at GoPro Motorplex, Kartsport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. We offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF Bearings, and Prisma Tire Gauges. We are now an importer and distributor for Dino Chiesa's new Kart Republic chassis, a kart that is taking the world by storm. Lorenzo Travis won the SKUSA Winter Series X30 Senior title on a Kart Republic, and our own Brandon Jarsakrak won in his very first weekend on the chassis. Don't get left behind. If you want to take your racing to the next level, we have driver training and coaching programs available, trackside at GoPro Motorplex. We have a massive inventory, so head to our online store at www.kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components you need. While you're there, check out our used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kartsport North America, top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development. Give us a call today.
In racing, you always want to be focused on improvement. Improving your driving, your braking, your lines, and your understanding of chassis dynamics. At the Rawls Performance Group, we specialize in driver development and providing a platform to maximize every opportunity for success. Our staff is made up of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. We're dedicated to your development, your constant improvement, and your success. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. It's what we do. We win. RPG can provide training and trackside support for many of the sport's biggest programs. In 2018, we will be running the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, Winter Series, the Super Nationals, and both the California Pro Kart Challenge and the Can-Am Karting Challenge. If you're looking forward to 2018 and you want to explode out of the gate to put in the best season of your life, call us to reserve a space under our tent for the inaugural SKUSA Winter Series. We'll be in Florida to win championships, and we'd love to have you with us. From coast to coast, IAME has become the two-cycle engine of choice for American karting. Starting with the air-cooled 60cc Swift engine and moving through to the incredible X30 power plant, IAME is providing much-needed stability for the sport. The Swift and X30 engines are the backbone of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and Pro Kart Challenge Series, as well as the USPKS, the Route 66 Sprint Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. We're thrilled to introduce the new IAME KA100 Rejet engine with a special introductory price of just $16.95 until the end of February. The new engine is getting rave reviews and will be part of the USPKS, Route 66, and WKA Man Cup programs in 2018. Watch for more regions of the country to get on board with this new formula. We have 2 distribution centers in the U.S. to serve you well. IAME East in Mooresville, North Carolina, and IAME West in Temecula, California. The momentum is continuing to build, so it's time to make an investment in stabilizing your engine program. For more information on IAME, head to the website for your region, IAMEUSAEast.com or IAMEUSAWest.com.
Are you a kart shop owner looking for a new line of products to put on your sales shelf? If so, it's time to make a call to Courtney Concepts. Courtney Concepts is excited to introduce white box brake pads, which are available for Tony Kart and OTK, CRG Ven 05, Burrell Art, and Bennett karts. They are available in medium and hard compounds. Courtney is also a distributor for a number of popular products used every weekend at the kart track, including Motul Oil, RK and Regina Chain, and NKP. Other products that Courtney Concepts is proud to distribute include ICO bearings, coil bearings, ARS oil seals, XAM sprockets, and Frixa brake rotors and pads. For more information on the products we distribute, head to CourtneyConcepts.com. Now back to play-by-play coverage of the second annual Superkarts USA Winter Nationals, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans. Brought to you by Kart Sport North America, Rawlson Performance Group, and Courtney Concepts.
Once again, drivers here in our X30 Masters category jumping on track to get things underway. X30 Masters. Speed Concepts Racing, the sponsor of the X30 Master category here this weekend. 15 with the transponders on right now. And again, we will reiterate to those of you listening live at home here on the EKN Radio Network that a number of drivers with rental transponders not using them now as they're getting a little extra charge. About almost 5 minutes into this session here, lap 3 the best thus far. Leonardo Nienkotter up to P1 in the number 521, as I had said off the top. 3 times a winner at the Super Nationals. Nienkotter from Brazil looking to get that 4th win to see if he can't join Connor De Felipe, the very top of the win list for the Super Nats. That said, I'm hearing potential rumors that Connor De Felipe may be back this coming year to run with us. Again, Connor moving on to a full racing career. Top driver in sports car ranks back here running in the U.S. as well. Great to have Connor with us. We had him on the broadcast, actually, at the Super Nationals as the 4-time winner. Quality young American driver has been able to really carve a nice career out for himself as a factory driver for a number of the manufacturers in the sports car ranks. Nienkotter on top. How about P2 now? What a return for Nick Tucker of Nitro Kart fame. Of course, Nick, a national number 1 plate holder, X30 champion a couple of years ago here in the Superkarts USA Pro Tour. Nick normally focuses on his Nitro Kart program, but decided, hey, this weekend I'm going to jump back behind the wheel as well. Nitro Kart's been obviously an unbelievably solid success story over the last number of years with Nick working with these young drivers and winning championships, and actually both championships, micro and mini Swift championships at the SKUSA Winter Series in Florida this past January and February. But back behind the wheel for Nick. We'll see. When I did an Industry Insider interview with him on the EKN Radio Network, he talked about wondering whether or not he'd have the stamina to really rock and roll through it the entire weekend. He just hasn't been in the seat that much. I think he'll be pretty strong. Nick in that number 510. Nienkotter on top right now. Tucker in second. Travis Irving in third. Paulo Lopez fourth. Laurent Mardan in the 5th spot. Miguel Mir in 6th. Kim Karapalati in 7th. John Robichaux 8th. Andrei Tsutupka in 9th. And Christian Vomir 10th. Derek Wang, I don't think he has the transponder on in the national number 1. Great field of drivers here this weekend. 1 driver off coming out of the second last corner. It's like the 577 Amir. No transponder as well for Jonathan Silva. I know he doesn't have one on. Looking out here at the track. Scott Roberts does not have one on either. So a number of top drivers with no transponder on yet. Be interesting to see how things shake down once we see all those times. Mardan has his on. He's P5 right now, 64.117. Just one more category still to go. Those drivers pushing onto the grid now. What will be a very large X30 senior class. Those drivers getting themselves ready to go. Again, welcome to the happy hour here on the EKN Radio Network. We're trackside at NOLA Motorsports Park. Gorgeous day so far. Temp's starting to go down a little bit. If you're in the shade anywhere, it's a little cooler because there is a bit of a breeze. If you're out in the sun, direct sun, pretty nice. Temps in the high 60s at this point. Once that sun goes down, though, it's going to head down to the low 60s, potentially mid-50s before the evening's up. Prospects for this weekend, absolutely gorgeous. Full sun, high of 71 degrees tomorrow, high of 76 degrees on Sunday. If you're one of the drivers or teams that may have drove down from anywhere, let's say, north of Charlotte, I think you're probably pretty happy now. Of course, a big, huge snowstorm coming through the Detroit area last night, stranding our man David Cole. Supposed to get here about 6:30 last night, didn't arrive till about 10 this morning, having to stay overnight in the Detroit area, back on an early flight. A number of drivers having those issues getting here a little bit early, but otherwise all good. In fact, some of the Superkarts USA staff having to get some alternate flights as well to get down here. Again, SKUSA bringing the top corner workers, race officials in from around the country to put on this Superkarts USA Pro Tour. 9th year for this event, or this program, rather. The 2nd year for the event, 9th year for the SKUSA Pro Tour. Of course, kicking things off in 2010. Just over 100 drivers, I think 101 drivers were at that very first race in Sonoma back in 2010. Kicking off what has been a fantastic program. And again, you look back at the last 20 years or so, 25 years of top-level national karting here in the United States, and by far the most staying power here for the SKUSA Pro Tour. We normally saw a program get rolling for maybe 3, 4, 5 years before infighting, whatever it may be, kind of struck, and there was competition, whatever it may be, and we kind of reset and started again, but 2 years back in terms of where we were. It took them a couple of years to get back to where we were before the issues happened. This program's just continued to grow and grow. Of course, there's not much more you can grow when you hit the 250 mark at a couple of these races. You're getting full fields in all the categories. Anything over 25 to 30 karts, you got to call a full field to a certain extent. 40, 45, 50 at sometimes, over 50, I think 59 in senior last year at Newcastle. There's only so much time in a day to get these things done. So you hit that 250 mark, that's pretty much critical mass for these national programs, and SKUSA's been able to hold that for the last couple of years, which is exciting. Final minute of the session here for drivers in X30 Master. Brought to you by Speed Concepts Racing. Nienkotter still on top. On lap 7, Paulo Lopez jumping up into the 2nd position. But worthy to note that lap number 9 was the best for Nienkotter. Last time by a 63.560. Leonardo Nienkotter on the racetrack still. Pounding out laps, getting comfortable. The Brazilian, one of the top Masters drivers in the country. On the comp cart for J3 competition. He'll roll through the final corner here. He'll get one more lap if he wants it. Nienkotter, 3-time winner of the SuperNationals. Not quite as quick last time by. Lopez in 2nd. Nick Tucker in 3rd. Lap 3 the best for Tucker. There comes the checker flag this time. Unspecified transponder in 4th position if you're looking at the Race Hero Live timing. Travis Irving in the 5th spot. Laurent Tumardin in 6th. Miguel Mir 7th. 8th is Kim Carapaletti. 9th is John Robichaud. 10th is Paul Mize. Top 10 drivers on the racetrack, separated by less than a second. Andrei Suzupka in the 11th spot. Christian Vomier in 12th. Rod Lake in 13th. Jorge Garcia in 14th. And Neil Faulkner rounding up the 15 drivers with the transponders on their carts here for this final session of the day. EKN Happy Hour here on the EKN Radio Network, and we'll be live all weekend long thanks to our broadcast partners here this weekend. Rawlson Performance Group, Kart Sport North America, and Courtney Concepts. Checker flag flying. Mardan Looks like he'll be the last driver across the line, I believe. Just, I think, 2 or 3 drivers remaining on the racetrack. Ian Cotter getting the full session in. We'll put down 11 laps. He and Mardan, the only drivers knocking out all 11 laps in the session. One more category still to come on the EKN Happy Hour final practice session here of the WinterNationals. X30 Senior getting ready to roll.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network. In racing, you always want to be focused on improvement. Improving your driving, your braking, your lines, and your understanding of chassis dynamics. At the Rawls Performance Group, we specialize in driver development and providing a platform to maximize every opportunity for success. Our staff is made up of multi-time national champions, SuperNationals winners, and Team USA members. We're dedicated to your development, your constant improvement, and your success. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. It's what we do. We win. RPG can provide training and trackside support for many of the sport's biggest programs. In 2018, we will be running the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, Winter Series, the SuperNationals, and both the California Pro Kart Challenge and the Can-Am Karting Challenge. If you're looking forward to 2018 and you want to explode out of the gate to put in the best season of your life, call us to reserve a space under our tent for the inaugural SKUSA Winter Series. We'll be in Florida to win championships, and we'd love to have you with us. Praga, Formula K, Aero, and now Kart Republic. You can get them all from Kartsport North America. Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on site at GoPro Motorplex, Kartsport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. We offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF Bearings, and Prisma Tire Gauges. We are now an importer and distributor for Dino Chiesa's new Kart Republic chassis, a kart that is taking the world by storm. Lorenzo Travis won the SKUSA Winter Series X30 Senior title on a Kart Republic, and our own Brandon Jarsakrak won in his very first weekend on the chassis. Don't get left behind. If you want to take your racing to the next level, we have driver training and coaching programs available, trackside at GoPro Motorplex. We have a massive inventory, so head to our online store at www.kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components you need. While you're there, check out our used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kartsport North America, top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development. Give us a call today. Are you a kart shop owner looking for a new line of products to put on your sales shelf? If so, it's time to make a call to Courtney Concepts. Courtney Concepts is excited to introduce white box brake pads, which are available for Tony Kart and OTK, CRG Ven 05, Burrell Art, and Bennett karts. They are available in medium and hard compounds. Courtney is also a distributor for a number of popular products used every weekend at the kart track, including Motul Oil, RK and Regina Chain, and NKP. Other products that Courtney Concepts is proud to distribute include ICO bearings, coil bearings, ARS oil seals, XAM sprockets, and Frixa brake rotors and pads. For more information on the products we distribute, head to CourtneyConcepts.com. From coast to coast, IAME has become the two-cycle engine of choice for American karting. Starting with the air-cooled 60cc Swift engine and moving through to the incredible X30 power plant, IAME is providing much-needed stability for the sport. The Swift and X30 engines are the backbone of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and Pro Kart Challenge Series, as well as the USPKS, the Route 66 Sprint Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. We're thrilled to introduce the new IAME KA100 Rejet engine with a special introductory price of just $16.95 until the end of February. The new engine is getting rave reviews and will be part of the USPKS, Route 66,
and WKA Man Cup programs in 2018. Watch for more regions of the country to get on board with this new formula. We have 2 distribution centers in the U.S. to serve you well. IAME East in Mooresville, North Carolina, and IAME West in Temecula, California. The momentum is continuing to build, so it's time to make an investment in stabilizing your engine program. For more information on IAME, head to the website for your region, IAMEUSAEast.com or IAMEUSAWest.com.
Now back to play-by-play coverage of the 2nd annual Superkarts USA Winter Nationals, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans. Brought to you by Kart Sport North America, Rawlson Performance Group, and Courtney Concepts.
Welcome back, folks, to the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole, about 3.5 minutes into the session here for the X30 Senior category, brought to you by PSL Karting. David Alavia on top right now in number 332. Ryan McDermott second quick. Driver's just getting a couple of laps in here now. Axel Cabrera in the 3rd spot. Nicky Hayes in 4th. Trey Brown 5th. Edward Ports in 6th position. Jorge Pescador in 8th. As we're getting a little move on here, Billy Musgrave jumps to the top of the charts. Musgrave, Alavia, McDermott. Trey Brown now back to the top. And again, we're going to get a lot of action here. One more happy hour interview here. We got a chance to chat with Nick Tucker. Nick, obviously, you're really entrenched now in the karting program. I know you work for one of the Cup teams as well on a regular basis. But, man, for you to be able to come in here and get back behind the wheel. You won a SKUSA Pro Tour a championship a couple years ago, but really you've been focused on the Nitro Kart program and really developing these young drivers. We'll get to that in a second. What drew you back? What was it that said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do one test day and come and run the Winter Nationals.
I'm not sure. Just it's what I've always done, and you get that itch every once in a while, and coming to the racetrack every weekend with the kids in the Nitro Kart program. It's tempting, right? And it just was the right situation to come back and give her a rip.
So give us a little update. The Nitro program's rolling here this weekend. What are you on? What chassis are you running this weekend? What's the engine program? Just give us a little overview of what you got going on.
Yeah, so I'm driving a Fullerton kart for my friends at Fullerton USA, who we have a partnership with for our big karts. The thing is handling really, really great. The new TF3 chassis. Our engine program, actually pulled it off of my kart from the 2016 Super Nats, and we brought it here, and Daniel Wilcher put a piston in it last night. So I want to thank him for doing that, because that bad boy's been sitting for a couple of years.
I love that. That's a great story. Now, let's talk about prepping coming into this deal. Before we came back on the happy hour here, when we were off air, you said you really had one session at GoPro, really focused session. How are you feeling out there right now?
Yeah, I feel good. Obviously, I think the race conditions tomorrow and Sunday is going to be more intense. A lot more mental focus, so I'm sure it's going to be draining on me a little bit. But, I feel good for not being in the seat competitively since Super Nats of 2016.
Nick, you've raced so many tracks over the years, whether when you were karting and your time behind the wheel of a stock car. Let's rate this track here right now. You talk about it being physically demanding, but mentally demanding as well. How would you rate this track here at NOLA?
Yeah, it's a really beautiful facility. The track's really killer. It's got some cool technical sections. It's high speed. You don't really slow down anywhere, but it's technical. A lot of passing zones, so enjoying running it for the first time today.
Before we get back, we're obviously getting close to wrapping things up here. Let's chat real briefly about Nitro Kart. What a success story within the business, within the sports, within the community. You're able to do some great things with some young drivers. You bring the families into it as well in terms of kind of educating them about the sport as well. What kind of feelings do you have personally about what you've been able to accomplish with Nitro Kart over the last couple of years?
It's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever been able to do. And I've been fortunate to do a lot and have a lot of success through the years. But it's just the culmination of all that coming together and what the kids have done as a group together. It's been incredible. And, I feel blessed. We're coming off of double championships at the SKUSA Winter Series and both Cadet Series. So when I started this a year and a half ago, I couldn't even have really imagine that. Sure, we dreamed it, but to be the top cadet program right now is certainly blessed feeling to have.
So, obviously you're coaching the kids. Are you feeling any pressure this weekend? Because they're going to be watching you. I'm assuming they're going to be on social media, give you some messages, maybe some coaching coming the other way.
Oh yeah, they're all critiquing me, and we have Ashley O'Hara that comes with us every week to help coach the kids, and whew, she was pretty hard on me earlier. I had to get my stuff together there, and luckily we kind of brought it together, put on some tires finally for the last session, and ended up third in happy hour there. So I think we can make some improvements. Daniel's going to go to work on the engine a little bit. We'll go to work on the chassis, and certainly the driver can get better, knocking all that rust off.
It's going to be a good story this weekend, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rob.
Nick Tucker, ladies and gentlemen, again, the man behind the Nitro Kart program, doing all the coaching he does with these young drivers, and looking very impressive. Again, he won that championship a couple years ago. Let's have a quick look here, though, as we have just, maybe 3 or 4 minutes remaining. Jorge Pescador leading the way. Ryan Norberg in second spot. Joseph Denali now up into third. Billy Musgrave in fourth. Trey Brown now fifth spot. Dante Yu in sixth. Ryan McDermott in seventh. Edward Ports in eighth. David Alavi in ninth. And Samuel Lupian rounding out the current top 10. Scrolling down here, looks like most of our drivers, I think, probably in this senior category have their transponders. Cole giving the update. There's still a couple of guys that don't have them yet. So again, time winding down. Just a couple of minutes remaining. X30 Senior brought to you by PSL Karting. Final session on the racetrack here for the happy hour broadcast on the EKN Radio Network. Jorge Pescador goes to P1 now. Pescador to the top of the charts to the number 321 machine, a 61.783 to a 61.824 for Ryan Norberg, national number one plate holder, two-time Superkarts USA, back-to-back that is, national champion in X30 Senior, only 0.04 of a second back. Norberg jet setting these days, just came back from Australia where he ran an X30 race down there. Norberg in second. Joseph Denali, young driver we've had a chance to watch come through the cadet and junior ranks. P3, impressive here early on for Denali. Billy Musgrave into fourth. Trey Brown fifth. Dante Yu in sixth spot. Ryan McDermott seventh. Edward Ports in eighth. David Alavi in ninth. And Samuel Lupian round out your top 10. A little further back, it's Nicky Hayes in 11th. Jacob Gulick in 12th. Axel Cabrera in 13th. Alex Berchignoli in 14th. And Hannah Greenmeyer rounding out your top 15. Final minute of the last qualifying session of the day, rather last practice session of the day. It's the happy hour broadcast here on the EKN Radio Network, part of our EKN Trackside Live coverage throughout this weekend. Remember, all you got to do is follow our social media channels, Facebook and Twitter, wherever you are, whether you're out shopping, whether you're working in the shop, talking to friends, playing golf. It's a quick look. We'll make sure we have the top 10s for you of each and every session, official session. Qualifying, pre-final, and final. You'll be able to see the top 10s in the category you want to follow. And again, of course, live coverage here on the EKN Radio Network. www.ekartingnews.com/live for all the live coverage. And, of course, throughout the week, when we're between races, ekartingnews.com/radio. Get you the 24/7, 365 first ever all karting 24/7 radio station online, the EKN Radio Network. We'll have an app coming out for the EKN Radio Network soon. Just one little touch on the mobile device and you're listening. Pescador still on top. We expect to, checker flag is flowing. Ends this session. Pescador on top. Let's wait to see if anybody has any speed here. Number of drivers still to come across the line. Most drivers still lap 3, 4, or 5. Yep. Everybody in the top 10, lap 3, 4, or 5, so let's not expect anyone jumping up. Brandon Jarsakrak goes to 14th, national number 3 on lap number 9. Otherwise, 3, 4, 5, 6, quick lap. Jorge Pescador with the quickest lap time, the number 3:21. Ryan Norberg ends up in second. Joseph Denali in third. Billy Musgrave fourth, and Trey Brown rounding out your fast 5. Dante Yu in the 6th position. Ryan McDermott in 7th. Edward Forts in 8th. David Alavia 9th. And Hannah Greenmeyer. There you go. Lap number 10. I just talked about the fact everybody's lap 3, 4, 5, or 6. No. Lap 10 for Hannah Greenmeyer on the Rawlson Performance Group Cosmic number 308. She jumps into the top 10. So that's wrapping things up. Our happy hour is done. The final round of practice, this extended 12-minute run, done. So we have practice finished. Of course, morning warm-up tomorrow before we head into qualifying, pre-final, and final. But other than that, our Friday is done here at the WinterNationals, the second running of this WinterNationals event, the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour. Corner workers starting to work their way back in here. Sun will start to work its way to the horizon as well. Sunset just about an hour away. And again, we thank those of you who tuned in to listen to this happy hour broadcast. We'll archive it and have it up on the EKN Radio Network next week, along with, of course, the audio from this weekend's event. And David and I will sit down on Tuesday to do one of our debrief broadcasts. We'll break down what happens throughout this weekend. So, again, that's going to wrap things up for us here on the EKN Radio Network, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you listening in, we'll be live again tomorrow. As soon as we get ready to go qualifying, David and I will fire things up, and we'll kickstart the EKN Live program. And again, big thanks to the broadcast partners who are part of the program here this weekend. Rawlson Performance Group, Kart Sport North America, and Courtney Concept. That wraps everything up. As I said, folks, we are done here from NOLA Motorsports Park. It's going to start getting cool as that sun starts to go down. We hope you come back and join us again tomorrow. On behalf of David Cole, this has been Rob Howden. Bye for now.
You're listening to the opening round of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, live from NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, on the EKN Radio Network.